If you want to understand the women in your life better, then there are some things you need to know. Maybe you want to understand your daughter, you want to understand your wife, or maybe you want to understand your mom. You know, women are not always the same throughout their life. They change. And if you are not really aware of this, then you might be surprised. So when I was a child, like before 12 years old or 13 years old, it felt like I'm very clear in my mind, I'm very calm, you know, I'm very like opposite of being confused or dramatic or anything, you know, like life was cool in a way. Okay, life was not that easy. I was born in the Soviet Union and we had difficulties, but I mean, psychologically I felt like that's okay, I understand life. I had this feeling, you know, like that. And then at some point when I was as a child thinking, that's very strange, you know, I'm getting older and at the same time it feels like I'm getting more stupid. Yes, this was my feeling. My feeling was like I'm becoming older but more stupid, and this was strange to me, you know, because I thought like, why is this happening? And then later on I realized, okay, this was like hormones becoming the part of my life and all the emotional influence they have on women. So throughout my teenage time I had suddenly completely different emotional like background and the way I felt and the way, you know, I reacted became completely different. So I started like thinking, so why is it happening, you know, like this? And this is also the time when many teenagers feel so confused that they just want to leave this life, you know. And I also had these thoughts, you know, that life just made no meaning and somehow it was weird and some things were too painful and stuff, you know. So I thought maybe I'd just go, you know. And crazy, but it's good to know, you know, especially if you have a daughter, you know. And then what also many people don't know, that this emotional roller coaster that hormones give to women that go on till approximately 52 years old, this is average, you know, can be longer, can be shorter, but 10 years before it all stops, like starting from 42 to 52, those 10 years is the most miserable emotional years for a woman. You know, because the hormones start freaking out again in the worst way possible. It's worse than when she was a teenager, you know, going from no hormone to being a hormone harmonious being, you know. So when you go back to like from being fertile to being not, then this 10-year transition period is extremely painful for women in different ways. And most women in this period is actually, they really want to go. They really want to quit. Because for some of them it's extremely bad. This transition 10 years period, you know, it can be that they really cannot sleep at all. It can be that they really, you know, feel pain and that the body doesn't function the way it should, you know, like a constant fatigue and mind fog, you know, all this kind of things I hear many women have. I'm actually in this transition period myself. I'm 48, so okay, for the sake of this year, I should reveal that I still have my cycle and everything every month coming. But yeah, this is usually not what you're talking about online. But yeah, it's just I'm in this transition period and I do feel some of those symptoms myself, especially emotional roller coaster. And so it requires me much more effort to stay calm, to stay clear than before. So I noticed the difference. And yeah, for me, okay, I've been working with my mind my whole life, whole adult life. I started meditating when I was 97, so I got used to noticing what happens in my mind. So when some funny emotion comes, I notice it's coming, and I can have the space to choose how to react, or to react at all. But for women who never had any kind of work with their mind, I can imagine it can be terrible, really terrible. So, and if you're a guy, and if you know that such thing, it's this 10-year period, starting from 42 to 52, average numbers again, it's called perimenopause. It's not menopause. Menopause is when it's over, the cycling, the period, but those 10 years is called perimenopause, and this is transition period, and it's much more heavy than the teenage period. Women are much more moody than when they were teenagers. So it's good to know, and if you know about it, you can also advise your woman, to consult a doctor, and you really need to find a good doctor, because many doctors, they have no idea how to treat these symptoms. They are not, it's very new knowledge. Many old female doctors, older and even middle age, they don't have this knowledge. So you have to actually search for the right doctor, who for the right clinic, who understand those symptoms and don't give you antidepressants just because you have a depression. To actually treat you on a physical level, And there are different ways, more natural ways, and sometimes women really have to take some, hormone stuff. And funny enough, also many women, they have no idea about this, and they also can be frustrated that suddenly they don't function the way they used to, and their emotional state is very dramatic. So for them, it's also maybe this video could be useful for some women who, after 40, who suddenly see those changes in their lives, which are not nice at all, So, yeah. And at some point, when this roller coaster is over, I think there will be again this period of clarity. You meet sometimes women who are much older, and you feel a lot of calm and peace, and wisdom in them. And I think it's somehow when you have the experience and the wisdom, but you don't have the emotional roller coaster anymore, I guess this is your state of mind, wisdom and peace. But I will have to get to this point, I'm still not there. So when I reach that point, I wonder if I remember myself as a child, being calm and being clear, being peaceful again. But the big difference now with life experience, I guess it's very exciting, but let's see what happens to me after menopause, I'll have to get there and share with you later, so make sure you follow me here. Actually, this channel is all about building freedom in life, and if you don't have freedom and peace in your own mind, then forget about outer freedoms, it just makes no sense. You have to be free in your mind, first of all. Women are different throughout their life, but also women are different every month, It's not only that they're different throughout their life because of the influence of the hormones, but they also, every month you have at least 3 versions of your woman or your daughter or of your mom. The first day of the period is when the period starts, when she starts bleeding. So this is the first day. And the first few days, she's physically not very fit, and some women have a lot of pain and lose quite some blood, so it's tiresome, I tell you, from experience here. So yeah, so first, like, I really have to plan those days into my, like, if I want to go hiking or do some kind of heavy, physically heavy kind of day, I really plan it in some other time, you know. So for some women it's more heavy, for some less. I am more the heavy person in this case. So the pain and stuff. So I can tell you it can be a real thing. It's not just. So the first part of the period, few days, she's physically tired. Emotionally she's okay, but physically really not very comfortable. Yeah? Then right after and during, like, from the 5th day to maybe 20th day, she's in a good mood, and especially in the middle, 14th day, around ovulation time, you know, when she's very fertile, a woman, she has very good mood. But basically she's in a good mood from the 5th to the 12th day, and this is like, this average numbers again, and this is like 15 days. Yeah, do I count it right? From the 5th to the 20th? Yeah, this is like 2 weeks of her cycle. She's really in a good mood. And part of it, she's like extra good mood, like, because the hormones are ready to, you know, to party, to mate, so to say. The body and the hormones, it's influencing the mind, you know. So your woman can be very flirty, very playful, very, like, excited and very positive about life in the middle of her cycle and those 2 weeks around it, you know. But then 20th day of the cycle till the end, till she starts bleeding again, this 1 week, like from 20th through the 28th, so to say, average numbers again, this 1 week before she starts bleeding, she's going to have a bad mood again, you know. She will be moody and she will have difficulties handling stress, you know, real emotional difficulties handling stress. So this is not, if you know her calendar, if it's your woman, it's good to check. You just don't plan serious conversations on those days. You don't plan life-changing decisions on those days. You don't expect her to be very positive. And many women also during this time, they're not very open to sexual stuff, you know, because they're kind of like, you know, she's anyway not fertile at that period, and psychologically and physically this is the reason why she's not open to sexual connection, because she's like, she knows she's not going to get pregnant, you know. But yeah, but still women can enjoy the connection during this period. It's just much more moody and takes more time, and maybe, you know, not as during the other days when she's like more ready to go, you know. So during every month you have at least 3 versions of your woman. You have a very tired, physically tired but emotionally calm when she's bleeding. Then you have this party girl, you know, in the middle of her cycle, and then at the end, the last week before she starts bleeding again, she's like a bitch, you know. She's like very moody, she's like not very nice, and if she tells you something in this period, you should know that this is not necessarily personal. She doesn't necessarily mean it, but she just has difficulties controlling her emotions and handling stress. Yeah, and if you know those things about women, then you can plan your life easier, you know. And I'm not saying that, of course, that women should be like saying, oh, I'm a woman, you have to deal with this. Women have to deal with their own emotions. But if you're a man and if you care about women in your life, again, daughters, your wife or mother or sister, you know, then you can actually plan some things in a better way, you can understand her better way, and you can get better results. Like if you want a party girl, you know the time, you know. If you want to have positive decision making, you know the time, you know. And if you want a good fit hiking girl, you know the time, you know. So it's like good to know. And many women, especially, they don't know some of it, especially this perimenopause 10-year of misery for some women. And suddenly, you know, they're like, what the hell, is it over? You know. And they just have to wait those 10 years. But if they have really bad symptoms, they will not survive those 10 years. So they really need to treat them if they have it bad. And they have to deal with their mindset and with their emotions, with their physical things. And when it's heavy, they have to consult a doctor, you know, in a good clinic, which might not be your town, you know. Maybe you have to find it somewhere else because it's not very common, this understanding. It's quite new. Anyway, I hope this video was useful for you, because this channel is all about building freedom in life and also connecting to other people in the most meaningful way, so that you can enjoy life yourself, but also be beneficial to others. And I also want to bring, you know, genders together, men and women understanding each other better. This is something, you know, this human connection, because men and women, they go away from each other, and internet is filled with, you know, videos about why women are bad, why men are bad and stuff. But yeah, I'm on a mission to actually bring people together, back together, you know, so that they can enjoy. Because yeah, a woman and a man together is the unity, and it's very natural and it's very healthy. So find a partner, enjoy life. It's not so easy, but I hope this video, yeah, could help somebody, both men and women. If you like this channel, I hope to see you in another video. All the best.